I, 35 male, recently found out my wife, 39 female, has been lying about where she is at night. To provide some context, my wife and I have been married for almost 10 years and have 2 little children, both under 5. She began going out with her pals considerably more regularly around 6 months ago than she had before. She progressed from 1 night per week to 3 to 4 evenings each week. I didn't think anything of it because she has always enjoyed going out, and now that she has children, I can understand her need to let off some steam more frequently. I didn't suspect anything was wrong until she began to get home later and later each time. I caught her many times arriving home before 5 a.m. She figured I would still be asleep and not notice since I get up for work at 5:15 a.m. When I confronted her about it, she simply stated that she was too drunk to drive and had slept it off at the home of a friend she was out with that night. It sounded suspicious, but I wasn't ready to be furious at her for not drinking and driving, so I ignored it. Actually, I told her I was proud of her for making a difference. I disregarded my doubts and just accepted her response. Let's go back to last month. We're at home, enjoying a typical Tuesday night, when she abruptly has to go to her friend's place. Her buddy is going through a difficult divorce and says she is afraid her ex may do something to her, so she has to go over there for support. It's around 5:30 p.m. now. I don't think much of it and tell him, just phone me if he shows up, and I'll be straight over. We haven't heard from her in hours. I text her but get no answer. It's now 11:30 and I haven't heard from her, so I'm beginning to worry that something has occurred with the ex. I dial the number and get VM. Now I'm completely freaked out. I had just bought a new phone and didn't have all of my contacts on it, so I couldn't locate her friend's phone number to call. That's when it occurred to me that I could collect her information from our mobile phone records. I go in to look through the past to discover her phone number, and while I'm looking, I keep seeing a number I don't recognize crop up in the logs. The major reason it stuck out was because the call times were excessively lengthy. For example, whereas the average call to other numbers is 10-15 minutes, the average call to this number was 1-2 hours. Then I see that this is the phone number she was messaging with just before she had to leave to go to her friend's place. I check up the phone number, and it's some guy I've never met. I moved from apprehensive to irritated in an instant. I called her phone nonstop for around 5 minutes. She has yet to respond, but she has finally texted me back. I urge her she should phone me immediately away. She doesn't have any. After 10 minutes, she calls. When I inquire where she is, she answers she is just leaving a friend's home. When I tell her I know she's lying, she panics and hangs up. We had a major battle over it when she comes home. She's been drinking and I'm enraged, so arguing isn't working, so I leave and sleep in the guest bed. I tell her the following day that I can't be married to a cheater and that I'm filing for divorce, and she flips out. She admits to lying to me but claims she is not having an affair. She just had a new set of pals that she knew I wouldn't approve of, so she kept it a secret. I don't believe her, but I can't prove anything and nothing she says would persuade me otherwise, so we agree to a trial separation. To avoid disrupting the children's life, we agreed that I will remain in the guest room until I locate a new apartment. The next 2 weeks are a blur of non-stop crying, both of us, and talking. We were never really good at communicating, so this is new. We talk about what happened to bring us here, and what we could have done differently to prevent getting here. Those 2 weeks were the most we'd ever spoken to one another vocally, and it drew us closer than we'd been in a long time. We agreed to put it behind us and work on our marriage, with the caveat that I don't want her seen talking to this group of friends anymore, and that there will be no more lies. She agrees, but adds that they have all purchased tickets to an upcoming concert, and she still wishes to attend. I consent to it like, the days before the show are fantastic. Like some of the most enjoyable days we'd spent together in a long time. Then the concert day arrives, and I'm an emotional wreck. Here I am encouraging my wife to go hang out with a man with whom I am very certain she was having an affair a month ago. I had a difficult night dealing with my worry over the entire affair, but I didn't want to spoil her show, so I didn't phone or contact her at all. I texted her the following day to clarify that she still wanted to work on things and that she was done with the group. She verifies and everything seems to be in order. I contact her later to ask whether a box has been delivered. She works from home and get no answer. Because it is a time-sensitive matter, I texted her again about an hour later and received no response. I suppose she's asleep since she was out late at the performance, so rather than bothering her, I opt to check our security cameras for an answer. Much to my astonishment, she's not asleep. She's washed, dressed, and left the home. She is meant to be working, thus she never leaves the office for more than 15-20 minutes. She had been gone for about 3 hours. I'm terrified, but I'm also trying to tell myself that she had an appointment or anything that I overlooked. When I go home, I see she is no longer dressed up and is back in her PJ. When I inquire whether she did anything today, she replies she went to the drugstore quickly, but that was all. I'm going insane. I showed her the security records and asked her to explain, but all she responded was that I was crazy. Now, I do have anxiety problems, and I'm prone to thinking negatively, so I begin questioning her as a method to talk myself through my worry and persuade myself that I'm overreacting. Instead of trying to talk me through it, she becomes extremely defensive and accuses me of spying on her and invading her privacy. We fought all night, and when I asked her, "What are you doing in the drugstore for 3 hours?" she deflected by saying I'm crazy and I need to visit a doctor to deal with these problems. I contacted her this morning and asked her to come clean, and to my amazement, she did. She claims she left her wallet in one of their vehicles and went to get it. She lied because she knew I'd be upset since she had to meet them again, but she didn't have an option. I want to trust her and help her, but she continues lying. I'm at a loss for what to do, and I don't have someone to speak to about it. Please assist me in processing this. Story 2. Found out on our 20th wedding anniversary that my husband is unfaithful. I prepared this letter for my spouse after discovering he was unfaithful on the night of our 20th wedding anniversary. He's on a business trip and will return shortly. Should I mail it to him before he returns, or should I hand it to him when he arrives? I'm not sure where to begin. I want you to know that your treachery has profoundly devastated me. I'm irreparably damaged. There's just so much my frail heart can endure. The most heartbreaking aspect of betrayal is that it always comes from someone you care about. I'm not sure why you would cheat. You didn't consider what this would do to me. You didn't consider what this might do to your children. You were only concerned with yourself. You were desperate to escape your ostensibly unhappy existence, and you did it in the most heinous and cruel way possible. You were too focused on what you didn't have rather than what you did have, constantly seeking for the greener garden rather than helping your own garden develop. Instead of growing what you have, you want to pursue the idea of what may be. Life is difficult. It's more difficult to lose someone. However, having your heart torn out by the one person you care about eventually destroys you on the inside. I sat there wondering how he could do this to me. 20 years tossed away like garbage, just like that. I had no idea I could be in love with the person who was bringing me so much misery. Knowing you've been exploited and lied to by the person you care about the most is the worst feeling in the world. I never imagined that the one person I'd ever loved would ever harm me. What hurts more than losing you is the knowledge that you're not battling to retain me. I've shed many tears as a result of you. Because of you, I've laughed a lot. Because of you, I believed in love. And now I'm heartbroken as a result of you. You not only cheated on me, but you also cheated on our children. You not only crushed my heart, but you also broke our family. Cheating is a decision. It is not an error. You made that decision. It takes years to create trust and seconds to destroy it. However, repairing it will take an eternity. I was barely afloat after you let me drown the previous time. I trusted you, but your words now have no meaning since your actions spoke for themselves. I'm a decent enough person to forgive you, but it'll take a long time for me to trust you again. Don't be sorry that I trusted you. It was my mistake, not yours. I am many things, but I'm also many things that I'm not. I'm not a perfect wife, but I never do to you what you did to me. Despite everything, I will never regret meeting you or say I wish I'd never met you since you were precisely what I needed once upon a time. I gave you my whole heart. I didn't expect to receive it back in a million pieces. My heart need more time to embrace what